and then they're not having enough elimination. So they're constantly intaking food, but the intake is not mirroring the output. And so we start with that as simple math. If you have a food, you should be releasing something. So the body works in a chain. You input, something comes out. You input, something, and it just keeps going around and around. But if you're eating, let's just say meats, carbohydrates, and a dairy in breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then your snacks are mirroring the same type of food, and then you pack on the caffeine and sugar and lack of water, have and smaller. Now you have gas that's in there, and then that tube gets smaller. And now you have undigested food, now that tube gets smaller. So now your colon looks like this. And you wonder why you're not having a bowel movement, or why your colon is distended, or why you're having issues with your uterus. So all this stuff starts to play in not having a bowel movement. Now, with all that being said, we're just talking about the colon itself. But what about all of the other organs around it? So what organ specifically is related to diabetes? Kidneys, and what organ?
The stomach.
What organ
that secretes the
Right. What organ is that? That secretes insulin.
The
Pancreas.
Pancreas.
Right. Where's the pancreas located in the body? It sits like right on top of the colon.
Oh, the
literally.
colon,
The
not-
stomach is here. The colon
Okay.
is here. So the stomach sits here, and the pancreas, it looks like a little, it's a weird shape. It's shaped like that. And
Like a nut or
right, and it sits right on top. So if your colon is distended, stuck, tight, it puts pressure on the pancreas. Then the stomach is pushed out the other way, and then the colon pushes down on the uterus and on the prostate. So all these organs are misplaced. Now, if your colon is like that and it's overworked, all of your other organs will follow suit, literally. So if your body is trying to process enzymes to secrete and break down meats, carbohydrates, cheese, and things like that, and it's trying its best to kick out insulin, but it can't, and you're steady doing this, something is going to get out. And that's where disease takes place. Disease takes place because the body has been overworked, and you're not caring for it the way that you should, and there's no breaks in between. That's why intermittent fasting is so important. Or let's say take one day out of your week, out of a 7-day period, where you just do liquids from sun up to sundown, and then you have a clean meal. Somewhere along the line, in the 7-day period, you're giving your organs a break. But we don't think about the body that way. We just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until something gives out, and then you have a diagnosis. Then you want to start kicking in and helping yourself getting better. Yeah? So that's what I talk about giving your body a break and what that looks like, and how that can fit into your day. Most of our clients, they're working clients, they have families, they have husbands to tend to, they're taking care of their elders. So how does self-care play a role in it? First, you can sit down and just have at least an hour to eat. And then when you're eating, make sure that you're eating foods the color of the rainbow. So when you're eating, you're using your food as your medicine. You know you haven't had water in a while. So anytime when I drink coffee, the rest of my day is all alkaline. This is enough acid, as you just clearly said. It's enough for 3 weeks. I may have a coffee every other couple of days, and then the rest of my day, I'm doing all alkaline stuff. I'm going to have red grapes, and yogurts for lunch today. That's my lunch.
So where does red wine fall in on that spectrum? Not, and I don't even drink wine, but I know.
Red wine. On the spectrum as far as healthy or
Acid
not
or
healthy?
alkaline?
That depends on how many glasses you're drinking.
Okay.
Yeah, so food is not the issue. It's what you do to food that's the issue. So if you're drinking a whole bottle of wine every night, then we have another problem on our hands. But if you do a glass of wine every other couple of nights and the rest of your day is alkaline, then you're fine. You're okay. And you also want to look at your bowel movements. Are you having a movement? And if so, what does that look like? If you're sitting on the toilet for 30 minutes, you're constipated. even if you are having a bowel movement every day, but how you're having it is straining, and that's not healthy.
Okay, so can we talk a little bit about, I mean, I know that this often grosses people out, but I find it to be a really necessary conversation. Okay, so if you're having bowel movements and they're coming out in mid-sized balls, what does that mean?
Mid-sized balls means that your food is very sticky and acidic and dry. And it's probably due to some type of medication that the person is taken to, and the body has enough time for it to roll over inside and create a nice round ball in you. So by the time you push it out, it's been sitting in the system, it's kind of rolling over, but it's not moving out. That's basically what that means. It's been sitting in the body way too long.
Okay, and then, so then if you get the creamy, kind of long stream, smooth ice cream movement, what
There
are those?
is a lack of enzymes that are being broken down from the food, and then you probably ate something that doesn't agree with your body, so your body is trying to get it out. Or there is a digestion issue. Something is not being processed, and so it just kind of runs out like water. Yeah.
And then I've had clients come to me who say that when they have bowel movements, it feels like sticker bush moving through the rectum. What is that?
That could be a food that they ate, and it's also lack of hydration, because it's just like hot, and you can feel like it's hot, and it's just like scratching. There's no hydration there, and the body is just trying to push it out.
And so, and then float versus sink.
You should have a bob going on. I know this sounds very, very crazy, but it should have float, have sink. It shouldn't all sink to the bottom, and it shouldn't all float to the top. So you want to have like this bob going on. It should be the consistency of a very ripe banana. It should be the shape of or length of a banana. You shouldn't have logs coming out, not pieces that have been cinched off.
Okay. Right.
And then again, looking at how you're eating your food, it's not what you eat, it's how you eat it. You can eat chicken all day long, but if you're eating fried chicken or chicken fried steak with gravy, with rice and potatoes, that's a little too much every day. But if you're eating grilled chicken with a colorful, you're eating, let's say, beef. People always ask, can I eat beef? You can have beef, but if beef is covered with, sour cream and refried beans and rice and potatoes, then it's a little too much, and you can tell if you've had too much protein. Think about how puffy people are when they eat too much meat. They get very distended and like swollen. You can see it here, you can see it in the wrist. And one thing that people don't remember is that you're eating whatever that animal took on. So when people are eating large amounts of meat, most of the time they're very aggressive or they're very slow. If they're eating a lot of dairy and cheese, they're very heavy, like they can't get up. Well, that product is made to feed a baby calf. It's made to bulk them up, right? So they can be a cow. So now you're intaking all that food and you're taking on that same energy. But if you eat foods the color of the rainbow, then you're going to have that same effect. You're going to be very easy, very light, and you're going to have this consistent flow of movement through your system. It's my
What is your thoughts on like for training that for weight training, high protein that suggests powders, supplements for protein?
I've seen a lot of boobies in my day, a lot of boobies. And what I say to that is, and I have a couple of athletes that come to me on a regular basis, their diets are just wreaking havoc on their system. They're constipated, it's very sticky, it's very thick, it's not moving out, even though they have that six-pack going on, but internally their body is dying. It's just trying to process all that protein. I don't think that we are protein deficient. I think we're plant-based deficient. You can get the same effect, if not better, with a plant-based diet. You can. The amount of meat that you need in the body is the size of your palm, not your hand, and the thickness of your palm. Most people do 2 hands times 2. And every meal, every time they eat, this is the amount of food or meat that they have in their system is too much. The body can't handle it if you're not having movement. Most people don't have movement. So
was doing eating protein powders and trying to get around it, and they would literally, chastise me over and over for not having enough protein. So is there a way to get that without, and I was saying that I can get it with my vegetables, and, I was mean in front of,
Right.
my coaches were always on my case about that.
Right.
Still.
I mean, you don't have to tell them what you're eating. You can say, oh yeah, I'm eating it, and still do your plant-based thing.
Mhm.
And you can, like, for you, if you're building weight, you don't have to not eat meat. But I know
Well, I wasn't eating meat, but the supplements.
Oh.
And I found the same, I was doing the protein powders. But I did find, like, even now, the weight was here and here,
Yeah.
bulky,
Yeah.
and I wasn't doing a lot of meat, but.
Well, those protein powders have a lot of additional stuff in it. Talk about labels. If you look at those labels, it has whey in it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you research what whey is the byproduct of cheese.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, you were having dairy and not protein. Technically, yeah. So that's a whole nother issue. I probably wouldn't even have you on that. You can do plant-based. Yeah. Dr. Schultz has a really good plant-based superfoods. You can use that and be just fine. There's a couple of vegan weightlifters and trainers that I follow on Facebook. They look fine, and they give you their diet. It's all plant-based. And they look 10 times better than those who are weightlifting with the protein. So, you can do it. So that's basically what I talk about during the class. And people have a lot of individual questions about colon hydrotherapy and what it can do. But in its simplest terms, colon hydrotherapy is a reboot. It will reboot your entire system and get it to remember, oh, I'm supposed to work, and then you give my other organs a break. And you keep in mind where the colon is. The colon lays right on top of all of the other organs. So if this one colon is distended or stops working, all the other organs follow suit. 85% of your immune system is in your gut, in your colon, not your gut, but in your colon. So if that is stopping, if it's stagnant, if it's not moving, everything else backs up. And that's when disease starts. That's when diabetes kicks in, because your pancreas can't keep anything over. Everything that you put in your mouth dumps right into the colon, including what you put on your skin, your, your contact solution. Everything you put in your body has to be filtered through your liver if it's a drug or a chemical, and then it's dumped into your colon. Your colon is sticky and a hot mess, all that waste backs up. And now your pancreas is trying to work overtime. Your liver is trying to work overtime. Your kidneys are trying to pump water through your body, but it can't because it's filled with this. So everything just stops.
So is it helpful for diabetics to
Oh,
come
yeah.
see you?
Oh yeah. I have a
And
couple
how
of
young? What age do you recommend, or is it case by case based on what the issue, what the person's
I
symptoms are?
have young people as young as 11, and then I have elders as mature as 86, I think. My oldest client is 86 and everything's between. I say as soon as you feel indifferent, you should start making some changes. Irregardless if it's me, or you go see an acupuncturist or a naturopath, as soon as you start feeling indifferent, you should be doing something different right out the gate, regardless of how old you are. If you're feeling pains, you should be making some changes, or talking to somebody, or doing something.
How do you replace the enzymes if you really prolong colonics? Do you have
Your food. And so if you're not sure if your food is where it needs to be, then you can get a digestive enzyme to help you out. So supplements are to plug in the holes into your diet until you get your diet under control. And then once you are good with your food, then you just go with your food. Herbs you can take for the rest of your life and be just fine, because herbs are food. You can grow it in a pot of soil. But supplements are pieces of an herb that's been taken apart, like a vitamin A, a vitamin D, or a calcium, and it's taken apart. And you only take that one part of that herb. And you take that for a specific set of time, but you don't take that for long periods of time, because that's just plugging holes in your diet until you figure out how you should eat. Once you get that under control, then I would flip you to some herbs to maintain it. You can take herbs all day long. If you eat herbs all day from like sun to sundown and just have dinner, you'll be fine. But you can't do that with a supplement.
So if a client has an issue with digestion and it's enzymatic, once that, can that be normalized by just taking the enzyme for a certain amount of time? Or do they have to take that enzyme and help them keep it feeding, so if they're older? like
It
I said,
depends on the severity, so that would be a case-by-case situation. But just in general, you can take papaya or papayan, that's an excellent resource, or just eat pineapple. Or you can do peppermint tea, that's a digestive enzyme. You can do ginger, and these are all herbs over a supplement. So you can do it. I just think people don't know what it is, and that's why the education comes in. We just sit down and have a conversation, and we ask questions like that and answer questions like that. But all of this is at your disposal. Most of the time, you can get peppermint tea for free. You can get ginger for free, and it's there.
Where's probiotics fall?
Probiotics fall all over the place. Everybody needs probiotics. I don't care if you're a baby all the way up to 100. Everybody needs probiotics. But here's the thing that doctors don't tell you is that when you have a bowel movement, you release both the good and the bad bacteria. So you have the good stuff and you have the bad stuff. Probiotics are the good stuff. You should be getting probiotics from the foods that you eat, but most people don't eat like they should, and that's where the supplement probiotic comes in. I would recommend that with any probiotic that you get, it should be about 50 billion minimum. 50 billion. Anything under 50 billion is a waste of your time, because most people, internal atmosphere is acidic. So by the time you take anything less than 5 billion, it's already marked up about right here.
Wow.
That's a wrap. So it never got to where it needed to be at all, which is lower down to the abdominal cavity. It stops right here.
Then in a smaller number than that 50 billion, would you say it is more effective to do a liquid probiotic, or
All
is it the
herbs,
same no matter what? Okay.
all herbs, food, supplements, minerals, the first method that you want to get it in is the liquid form.
Okay.
Sublingually in the mouth is absorbed right into the bloodstream right away. And that's with anything that you take. Second should be a powder or tea. And then third should be a capsule, absolutely last. Because remember, the body has to break that capsule down. If they're not digesting food, they can't digest the capsule. So I've seen many of empty capsules moving through the system, through the colonics. Their body can't break it down, so it just sits there. And that creates a whole nother mess. And you figure out, well, why am I so gassy and extended? I started doing a colonic and all these capsules start flowing out. So liquid first over anything, regardless of what it is. Get it in liquid form first, then a tea or a powder secondary, and then a capsule absolutely last, or a pressed tablet. Even the pressed tablets, I chew them.
How do you know if they're alive? So if it's in a tea or if it's been heated, how do you ensure that probiotics are alive?
For a probiotic,
Yeah.
probiotics are normally refrigerated. So yeah, as long as you keep, if it's liquid, as long as it's refrigerated, you're fine.
What if they're capsules or tablets?
Normally those are refrigerated too. They're flash frozen, so they should be refrigerated too. They
So the ones
should.
that are not refrigerated, they would.
I would, because anything that's alive and it's sitting in heat dies off. Yeah, so it should be flash frozen.
So how, for colonics, wouldn't you also be killing the good and the bad when you have one? Say,
No, because what colonics do is we have to remember the benefits of water. Water is the perfect conduit for change. So when anything is sitting in the water, it multiplies, right? So all of the bad stuff is coming out of the body. There is going to be some good stuff that comes out too, but for the most part, it repopulates. So if your colon is the same consistency as the inside of your cheek. So if your colon is bogged down with waste, you're not absorbing the good or the bad anyway. So you might as well go ahead and come in and get a colonic because there's nothing moving. It's just sitting there. So the longer you let it sit there, the longer the bad will flourish and the good stuff shrivels away. So a colonic goes in, shakes everything up, reboots it, cleans it so that the good population can be repopulated.
so what is going inside you? Is that water,
Just water.
caffeine? No,
Plain
not the
water.
caffeine?
Plain water, nothing else. Water is all your body needs to reboot. Something as simple as reflexology a reflexology. Acupuncture. If this is reflexology, something is wrong.